This is Trabr. We're creating the technology and the ecosystem for everything building. We're creating a market network which boasts a marketplace and a mobile-first, cloud-based suite of project control tools for builders, consumers, trades, suppliers, for everybody. All on a smartphone, all remote, all mobile, all for building. This is Trabr, and this is a building conversation. So g'day, we're here today with Dave Henson from Renxtend. G'day Dave, how are you?
Yeah, good Tony, yourself?
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for making the time, I really appreciate it. So if I could turn to a different approach or a different perspective on the whole building ecosystem, I guess it's often said that the best relationships in business are the ones that you regard as partnerships. Given the role that Renxtend has in the industry and the scope and value of work that you do, is it too strong to say that, specifically let's talk about home building and home renovating, that the relationships in that space hasn't quite reached that quality of partnership, or is it different with different clients, or what are you finding?
No, I don't know. The partnerships aren't a problem. Partnerships of clients, or that's fine as long as you can deliver a product and you're open and communicating. There's always a partnership there.
Yep.
Trades are a different story. Trying to get good partnerships with trades.
Challenge.
Can be a challenge.
Yeah.
You go through a few trades before you find the right trades, but once you find them, you try to stick with them, and that's the partnership.
Yeah.
I guess you try to develop, which it is challenging, but you do find them eventually.
Yeah, because there's so many interdependencies in building, and that's what makes building such a complicated thing.
Yeah,
it's the relationship interdependencies, the supplier interdependencies, etc.
Yeah.
But do you think that the industry's moving towards that sort of type of relationship, that it's more about building partnerships, or is it more about, if you're here for the next job, that's great. If you're not, well, just find someone else?
I think so. I think it slowly is moving that way. As I said, you build partnerships everywhere you can. Whether you build a partnership with a former client and they come and see you later on, and they ask you to do the job straight up. That's the partnerships you can develop with them. Suppliers, I only use a few suppliers because I've got those partnerships. I've already built them, and they'll help me out if I need a hand.
Yeah. And do you find that any different, for example, in your pool business, Renxtend Pools, versus your homes business?
A little bit. The pool sides is a little bit more cutthroat. But as I said, the pool company's only been going a couple of years, so I've got a few partnerships to try and get in there first.
Yep.
But it's building. It is a little harder, but it's coming along.
Yep.
Yeah.
And do you find the clients have a similar sort of approach or mindset with that part of the business versus the homes? And
a little bit, but the thing with a pool is it's an instant. I wouldn't say relief. It's an instant
gratification.
Like the kids. Normally people, they bang. They're straight in it. It's something that they've got now. That's an outside area. Whether it be an entertaining area we do as well as the pool, they're straight into it and they use it straight away. It's gets the kids out of their hair. It's gratifying that way. But partnership side of it, I think so. It's a lot of word of mouth for us, and I guess that's the partnership side of it, where they trust us and they give our name off. So
and that's a good measure of the quality of the relationship that you've had.
Yep.
So tell me, what do you consider to be the main pain points in a builder's relationship with their home or home renovation consumers? If there's such a thing as a main pain point?
I don't think there is, not for me. Every now and then you might get a client that's a little bit harder than the other, but
that's life in the universe.
It is life. You've got to educate. You just don't come in and do a job. You still got to educate your clients on how it all works.
Yeah.
But as long as you're doing the job and delivering a job and doing everything right and being upfront, which is part of the communication, well, no, there should be no issues. And I don't have that problem.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. What about in that regard, though, what about consumer expectations? Have you seen that changing in any way recently, or in the last years, the last 10 years that you guys have been in business?
Everyone wants something cheaper, don't they?
Funny about that,
yeah. So, sometimes, they'll go, well, why can't you do it for this price? Well, if you want the job done right and done it to your specifications and how you want the thing to look, that's my price. If you're happy to go use someone else that's a bit cheaper, they won't deliver the product the way we deliver it, because they can't. It's a cheaper price. So I think sometimes they try and, come on, you can do it cheaper, but that's not what we're there for. They've got to realise, which is why I educate to them as well, this is your biggest asset. This is your biggest asset in life. If you're going to skip out, $10,000 on your biggest asset, that's what you try and educate to them. It's just not worth it. It's like with the prelim agreement. When I do that, I'll put that in front of them. They go, well, God, that's a fair bit of money to.
This is just the prelims.
I said, yeah, but I'm designing something that's going to be for you for the rest of your life. I want to get it to budget. I want to do this. I want to make sure we're right before you start. That's your biggest asset, and that's what you've got to try and let them know. Yeah.
I know. I've often heard from people whose opinions I respect in the building game that the prelims is perhaps the single biggest investment.
Yep.
Because it just you work out all the bugs before it starts.
Totally. So for me, if a client goes to a draftsman or an architect and says, "This is what we want," they'll draw it for them without coming to a builder. They've got no idea how much that's going to cost. That's the part where we educate, and we've got to get that to the client and say, look, you're better off paying a little bit of money to get this looked at, maybe just get a prelim price on it, just so you know you're in budget, because there's nothing worse than getting something designed and you're $200,000 over budget. Where does that money come from?
Heart attack stuff.
Yep.
Listen, that was really interesting. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for answering the questions. It's been really, really valuable. Dave Henson from Renxtend, thanks again.
No worries. Thanks, Tony. Cheers.